your demons, Dom, your demons, bitch.
Welcome back to the Dom Your Demons podcast. My name is Midas MSL. I'm the host of Dom Your Demons, and today I wanted to talk about something that was nudging me quietly. And I always know that when there's like a strong, deep feeling inside of me rather than one that's like a blinking light. I mean, we should definitely honor the very strong blinking lights in our life. But also there are these like undercurrents of quiet knowing. And I think that's where the best intuitions come from. And today, that quiet knowing for me was this idea about maturing and what is maturity. And I think it's a topic that only someone who's 38 years old can adequately talk about, because you're on this threshold between your youth, you're objectively exiting out of like a number age of youth. I mean, I feel like once you hit 40, you can't go back. And I am always going to stay fly. I'm always going to have fun. I am always going to be forever young. I know that in the depths of my bones. But as I was walking down the street today, I had this really quiet knowing that was like, you are maturing. Like, you are mature. You're growing up. And, you know, though I may really be a late bloomer, I think it's hard for people to have a certain kind of litmus test against themselves about what maturity actually is. You know, you only have your own internal experience, and maybe you have some people who reflect it back to you, but really only you know if you've reached a certain level of maturity. And as I was walking, I felt this sense. It was like, it didn't have a bullet point list of like, you're mature because this, and this. It just was like, you've crossed some certain kind of threshold in your life that comes from learning about resilience, demonstrating resilience. But as I went deeper into this topic, I was like, really, what is maturity? Like, what is it? And the conclusion that I came to is that maturity is a cultivation of two things: observation and action. Your ability to act when you don't really feel like it, and your ability to observe when you feel like reacting. And if you can nail those two things down, instead of just becoming this reactive person where something happens and then your emotions take over, and now your emotions are like fucking mogging you. You are a servant to your emotions. The more and more you can practice the muscle of observation and neutrality in moments where you really want to react, I feel like that is like the gauntlet of developing maturity in yourself. And then I feel like action is such a huge part of this as well, because there are so many times in our life where we don't want to act, either because it's an uncomfortable thing, or it's scary, or you have to advocate for yourself. You actually have to like demonstrate self-love and self-care in order to move forward out past your comfort zone. Moving into maturity is the ability to become less reactive about the things that you need to act on in life. It doesn't happen overnight. This is a thing that cultivates over a horizon of time. After every time that you complete this act of observing instead of reacting, or initiating instead of sitting back and waiting for something to happen. But it's not like I was Hawkeye monitoring for like if I had become mature. I think the fact that I was like walking down the street and this like this deep well of a feeling came up in me that was like, you have just shifted into the second phase of your life. And coming from somebody who is so intensely emotionally sensitive, like I'm so fucking sensitive, guys. I appreciate my sensitivity. I adore my sensitivity, but it has to be mitigated and it has to be harnessed. If your sensitivity is just fucking on full blast, your emotions are going everywhere and you're just like jizzing your emotions everywhere, then your sensitivity goes to waste, because staying reactive at the surface, you know, it's like not having enough room to drop down into your body and live as a profound depth. Instead, your sensitivity becomes this reactivity. It becomes this reactive sort of, like, vulnerability is a strength, but being overly sensitive is a fucking detriment. And the only difference between those two things is knowing how to ground your emotions. Okay, so like knowing how to ground your emotions into a certain sort of depth requires maturity. It requires the ability for you to look back, observe with neutrality, and then engage in a new way with the prior ephemera of these emotions. So It's like currency. Your sensitivity is a certain kind of currency, and you can spend it all on shitty clothes at Zara. You can spend it all at the bar, or you can invest it back into the depth of who you are. And I love that. I love that for us. There's a lot of discourse around this idea of like, you're not too much. But it's like, if you don't know how to ground your emotions, sometimes you are too much. Like, if you just are incredibly intensely reactive, then yeah, you sometimes are not harnessing your emotions appropriately. And the problem isn't you being sensitive. The problem is you not having agency over the gifts that divinity has given you. And I think that vulnerability is one of the biggest gifts that you can have. But like, think about Frank Ocean. If Frank Ocean was a whiny ass hoe and he just like got on Twitter all day and he didn't stop tweeting and then he never made a good album, you'd be like, I hate this whiny ass hoe. But what does Frank Ocean do? Frank Ocean harnesses the depths of his vulnerability by being able to observe it, process it, harness it, and turn it into something amazing. And I think that we all need to hear this. It might be a little bit of tough medicine for like overly sensitive people. Me. Probably you if you're listening to this. That's okay. It's just like, really, when I think about it, it all boils down to free will. What do we do with the gifts that we've been given? And in order to like handle those gifts correctly, you need to be able to have the power of observation and initiation, initiating actions that are productive for your life. And I think maturity is also being able to like look at the thoughts that are moving through your mind like ticker tape and being able to choose with agency which thoughts you want to keep engaging with and which ones that you want to transform. And in order to do that, you have to have some kind of a sense of a bird's eye view, a higher perspective on the culmination of all of your thoughts. You have to stop taking your thoughts so personally, because most of your thoughts are just programming from your childhood. And your body is the computer. So you have to find a way to go and locate where the thoughts have been living in the body and transform them from the inside out. And I am so fortunate in my own life because, like I said, I was such a reactive hoe. I was such a reactive son of a bitch. But it kind of wasn't my fault. It was the fact that my body held these emotions so intensely, and I just didn't know what to do with the sensations in my body, because you have to remember, you are not a floating head in space. Your body is also interacting with the programming of the traumas that you've brought with you. And so you have to reprogram the body itself. And your body is an engine. And the engine just needs to be maintained. And in order for yourself to maintenance the engine, you have to know where the problem is in the body. And you'll notice that the problem, in quotation marks, will come up in patterns. And when you look at each problem and you pull out to a timeline of what all the problems are, you'll see a pattern that like all of them have like a similar theme. They all have a similar wording. They usually like boil down to one essential phrase or two essential phrases or three essential phrases. When you look at the patterns of all of your romantic experiences, all of your career experiences, all of your family experiences, all of your experiences of how you're perceived, how you value yourself. It was like, as I matured, I got higher, 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 and higher up above the entire macrocosm of my life. And I saw truly that it really only boiled down to like a few general statements, no matter what area of life I was in. And once I had that distilled phrase, which I like to call my demon thesis statement, I'm able to go into the body where that's living and transform it. And I think that's amazing. But I'm not lying when I say that. Like, now the hypervigilance that used to exist in my body around all of these topics, and it wouldn't stop, even like no matter how smart I was, no matter how much I thought I could analyze my way out of the problem, analysis is only the first half. If you do not initiate some level of catharsis in your body to actually feel these things once and for all, like to feel into the depth of them, not to relive them over and over again, not to become a victim, but to actually let yourself feel the validation of like, man, this was fucked up. I really didn't like this. This was out of alignment with my center of gravity. I can trust my center of gravity. And if something happened that was out of alignment with it, I can feel it, express it, validate it, and truly let it go from the body. Now, for me, that answer was through breath work. Breath work was the only way that I could identify a pattern and then go into the exact part of my body where it was and like, and I would feel a transformation, like a cathartic release happen. And the reason that I knew that what I was doing was working is because a week afterwards, that problem was not on a low hum. It was like no longer existing in my mind. It wasn't tapping on my shoulder anymore. I just was like 10% more relaxed in my life. And now I do other things to keep up this maintenance of relaxation in my life, but like I realize that if you're just doing maintenance on your anxiety and you're not looking at the core root causes, you're going to be like plugging a hole in a sinking ship for the rest of your life. And that's hard medicine for me. That was hard for me to come to terms with and learn because I was asking my higher self, like, how do I heal? And I think that we have this societal narrative that like, well, maybe you're never going to heal and that's okay. And I think that's bullshit. I think that you actually can heal. You can actually go in and take the macrocosm, bigger problems in your life, find them in the body and release them cathartically. You just have to know the mechanisms of it. And for me, like, I want to offer that to everybody, what I've learned, because I did that through like trial and error, blood, sweat, and tears, a little bit of EMDR, a little bit of therapy, a little bit of having mentors. But really at the end of the day, it was through like me going into the darkest, scariest parts of myself and figuring it out for myself. And like no one else can take that from me. And that's the gift that I wish for you. Like I wish for you to feel the autonomy and the sovereignty of being able to know who you are and to know that healing is possible. And that sounds so fucking hopecore, but it's like, it's the truth. It's the truthiest truth that I can offer. I actually created a worksheet to help people identify the overarching patterns of trauma in their life and to like get a wider bird's eye view of it. I call it the demon inversion worksheet. And what you do is you find what I like to call your demon thesis statement. And now your demon thesis statement is like the underlying beliefs that even though your mentee knows that it's not true or it's not real, it's like your body still thinks it's true. And you have to go in and find those things and find a way to give it a real physical release and catharsis. And once you do, if you really do it correctly, these things do not come back to haunt you with the same intensity. Perhaps they come back to haunt, but they do 10% less every time, 5% less every time. And what I say to people with the Dom Your Demons work that I suggest is to give yourself a horizon of time of like 1 year or 2 years so that by the time you've spent, like, you're not pressuring yourself, because that's just a recipe for re-traumatizing yourself or overwhelming yourself or just like giving yourself a bad time. You really want the salve of time and perspective to come and collaborate with you. Because here's the thing, like, your mind can't figure it all out. And Carl Jung has this quote that says that the subconscious moves in spirals. And to me, what that means is that each time it comes up into your conscious awareness, they show you and offer you one new thing, because the subconscious is so wise that it knows you can't handle all of that information at once, because the truth is fucking hard to receive. So it comes up, it says, hey, you should be aware of this and you need to release this. Okay, thank you. And as these negative patterns collapse fully, you'll notice that that hum that was like, at first it was like this loud white noise static, like, the next time you do it, it might sound like this in your body, in your mind. You can't just think your way out of it. Remember, as you release it from the body, the next time you do it, the next time you release it, it goes. And if you're lucky, and I've been lucky once or twice in my life, you might notice that the last time you address it, it's like almost nothing, almost completely inaudible. And I think that's where like a sacred mystery comes into all of this too. You have to give it up to something bigger than yourself and offer it up to the divine and say, hey, I am asking you, divinity, to help me collapse this negative pattern in my life, this negative spiral. Please collapse it in a way that brings me no crisis, harm, or suffering. Let it be done gently. Let it harm no other beings, including myself. Let it happen in a way that is pleasant to me. And I hope that this triggers somebody when I say, healing is fucking possible. Healing actually happens. I experienced it after 38 years of like feeling like I was in a prison of my own experience. I still stayed cute the whole time while I was in the prison. I stayed cute in the prison. But now, as I finally give myself the credit of like, you have reached a certain level of maturity. Now, mind you, if I hear some bullshit in the comments, you might see me respond and be a total fucking dickhead. I'm not above that, but I'm not above a lot of things. But to me, maturity is also like a certain experience of quiet in your inner life. Like your inner life has this quiet. And so even when chaotic moments come up, it's like the depth of you is just silent. And it's crazy for me to be able to actually tell you that that is my experience. It's wild. All right, quick pause because I want to tell you about my 25-minute online class, and it's a daily routine that I've been doing every day for the last 2 years called How to Actually Relax. This is my online class, and it is literally the basis and foundation for Dom Your Demons, because how are you ever going to responsibly transform your shadow when you're inconsistent, ungrounded, and lacking devotion towards yourself? Now listen to me. This class will make you hotter. Look at my before and after. It's nuts. And when done daily, this class is an incredible emotional regulator. And it's going to change your relationship to your body for the better forever. Now, this class pulls from everything I've learned from Qigong masters, ceremonial magicians, my mentors, and scientific research on lymphatic circulation, its benefits, and earthing. I highly encourage that you do this class with your feet on the ground, bare feet earthing, or if you're just in a high rise or a hotel room. Either way, it's going to change your energetic baseline state. What does that mean? It means you're going to be a different person from when you started it to when it finishes. You are not a floating head in space. You are a physical engine holding divine energy. So take the goddamn class. All right, stay freaky. Back to the show. Today's sponsor is Intuitive Readings by Midas MSL. That's me. If you've been feeling a pull towards clarity, direction, or deeper understanding, this is your moment. I offer intuitive readings designed to illuminate what's unfolding in your life. Love, purpose, timing, decisions, and the energy surrounding your next steps. Based on my reviews and testimonials, I can say with confidence that these sessions are warm, personal, and deeply insightful, and people often walk away feeling affirmed, focused, and newly confident about where they're headed, and I can say that with clarity. Whether you're navigating change, seeking answers, or just curious about what's about to unfold for you next, this is a powerful experience. You can book sessions directly with me online. Just check the link in the show notes for details. All right, stay freaky and back to the show. And listen, I want to say one more thing. I think in the healing sphere, like when people talk about healing, we're only getting advice from like clinicians or therapists. And while I find their years of study and their practical advice to be very helpful, and we should all keep that in mind, I also want to hear from the motherfuckers who were like, I was fucked and now I am not. So if that's a therapist, great. But I want to hear from the people who actually had a lived experience of like, no, I was fucked in my mind. I found a way to pull back, observe, and then initiate properly. And then I walked out of it successfully. I mean, I think that like actually the internet is lacking that. I haven't seen enough of that. And it makes everything that I see feel so clinical and sterile and like holier than thou. I want to see a motherfucker that went through it. And that's actually why I like people who have experienced substance abuse so much, because they're not afraid to come and tell you their story of their origins, their addiction, how they overcame it, how they maintain it. In fact, I respect those motherfuckers the most. I just think now is a time where we all need to be more real and raw and honest with each other. I think the astrology supports it. I think that like Aries in Neptune and Saturn in Aries is asking us to initiate with this like bold, courageous expression of ourselves on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on an artistic level. It's time for us to start getting super fucking real, don't you think? I know you think. Let's see. Okay. Before I close out this podcast, do I have any good shallow thoughts? Do I have any good like pop culture shallow thoughts that I've been thinking about recently? I hate everything that the Met Gala stands for, but I did think that Hunter Schafer was like stunning and magical and mystical and completely fucking captivating. Oh, this is kind of juicy, but all right. Coming from I've personally like played drums in 2 different punk bands. I've played in rock bands like my whole fucking life. And I have to throw a little bit of haterade towards this theme of like people who are not actually about rock and roll, cosplaying rock and roll. I love Charlie XCX, but I kind of don't like this new thing of like, I'm a rock chick. I'm going to sing a rock cover. I'm going to sing Heart. I'm a rock chick. I'm gonna sing this rock song. It's like, guys, this is a little cringe. This is a little cringe. So if you're gonna like play rock music, have a band, like practice with your band, fucking engage in it. Don't just like wear the costume of like, I'm a rocker. I don't know. I think when girls do that, it's so cringe because our lineage is like PJ Harvey. That one girl from The Kills, fucking Meg White, like, I fucking hate her, but Courtney Love. So if you're into rock and roll and big fucking cringy quotation marks, start a band, okay? Start playing shitty rock music with your friends in a physical space. Just do it. I actually am about to release a super douchey rock song, so I might be a total hypocrite. It's called, Ending Credits USA, and I'm totally being a hypocrite because I like just threw a bunch of guitar and drum samples into an Ableton file, and then I was like, I'm just gonna make the douchiest, most Nickelback song I possibly can. And it's about how rock and roll is dead and how so is the USA, and I feel like there's some kind of parallel between those two things. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'm trying to get over myself when it comes to being on a camera. Like, I'm a voiceover artist and I'm a recording artist, so I'm not really used to like recording on a camera, but I'm gonna stop being a pussy. And that's all there is to it. If you'd like to book a Dom Your Demons session with me, that's up on my website. I would love if you booked a reading. Please follow this podcast. Please leave a comment that's cute and nice and super sweet. And I hope you stay very freaky. And I will see you in the next one. All right.